Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 170 of The Rewind, a podcast dedicated to keeping its listeners on the cutting edge of the upcoming MMORPG, Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Whether you've been with us for the 9 longest years of our gaming lives or just found out about us, Draq and I are so thankful that you took the time to listen. If you like the content we do here and would like to help the channel grow further, either over on YouTube that you're listening to right now or through the Static Group Live Twitch account, we'd love for you to take a quick second to click the like and subscribe button to help the algorithm in our favor. In addition, we also have a Patreon to help fund our software licenses and give back to the community through pledge giveaways. It is never required, but if you have the means to help, please follow the link below and pick a tier that's right for you. Lastly, we continue our 9-ish part interview series as we approach early access in December. This week, we got lucky enough to snag some time away from the current most popular Pantheon content creator on the scene, Lotu. She has single-handedly brought fresh life into Pantheon with her enthusiastic personality and her new perspective that reminds old fogies like Draq and me why we fell in love with the game in the first place. We can only hope she hasn't listened to our past content or any of the words that have come out of my mouth. Yes, Draq, I will be on my best behavior. Please stop texting me every hour about it. Now, on with the show.
In the bustling warmth of the Broken Barrel Tavern, the motley crew found themselves savoring drinks and swapping tales. Ziplox, the dark mirror rogue, scanned the room with a glint in his eye. Catching sight of a hulking orc shoving patrons aside, he nudged annoying Llama, the human monk, who took one look inside, sensing trouble. "Watch this," whispered Chiro Dude, the gnome summoner, as he conjured a harmless but startling illusion of a rat scurrying near the orc's feet. The orc stumbled back, crashing into Archbishop, the stout dwarf paladin, whose ale splashed across his beard. With a growl, Archbishop raised his mug. "Who dares ruin a dwarf's drink?" Screech, the scar bard, strummed a lively tune on his lute, fanning the flames of the tension. "Fight, fight, fight," he sang with a mischievous grin, stirring the tavern goers into a frenzy. The orc lunged, fist flying, but annoying Llama nimbly ducked and delivered a quick jab. Anton Duviditis, the Dark Mirror Shaman, invoked a spell to trip the orc, sending him sprawling. Ziploc seized the moment, picking the orc's pocket with a wink. As the brawl subsided, the crew gathered laughing. Another night, another adventure, and a few extra coins.
All right, Lotu, well, you are welcome to the show. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It is totally an honor. I appreciate it.
Well, I mean, you have certainly, like I said in the intro, kind of sprung onto the scene, and we're very excited to have you here. You're like the most popular, hottest new thing in Pantheon right now as far as content creation.
That's so
honestly, you're like the monsters and memories to Joppa's Pantheon, right? Like every time I hear Pantheon mentioned and content creation, I hear your name. So clearly you are having an impact on the community. So we had to have you on here. It means a lot to us that you take the time to come join us today.
Well, thank you so much. I have nothing but good things to say about my time with Pantheon and the community and everybody attached to it. It has been seriously just like such a blessing. And I reflect on that so frequently, like how I just, ran into Pantheon, and all credit again. I want to give credit where credit is due. Orin and Kylaris are the reason that I have heard about Pantheon at all. Like they are the reason I saw it. I kept hearing about it, and Orin was so knowledgeable about the game, that he just spoke with such authority that I really felt like I was learning about the game, about the community. And so all credit to them that I even heard about the game in the first place, and everything has just been, an uphill from there.
That's fantastic. I felt the same way when Draq pulled me in now 4 years ago into the Pantheon community.
It's been a while.
It does seem like a while. But there's a ton of really great people here that have come and gone and are coming back and are leaving again and coming back again. It's fantastic. So,
oh yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I say this all the time. If it weren't for people like you guys and like people who pledged, in the Kickstarter, like how long was that? Like 10 years ago? If it weren't, or plus, probably plus 10 years plus, if it weren't for people who took a risk then, the game would not be in the state that it's in right now for me to even enjoy. So like, I always say that like, I'm coming in when things are easy. Like I see the work that Visionary Realms is putting in. I see the direction the game is going. And it's fantastic. It's got like a solid developmental pace. Like I see the vision for the game. The people who risked it all back when and gave their pledges back in the Kickstarter when you just had like a promise, a dream, and like a few concept art pieces to go off of, like that's where the risk was, and that's the reason things are where they are. So all credit to all those early backers.
This is already the best interview of all time. We haven't even started the questions, and already best interview
what can
yet.
I say? I'm used to talking for 5 hours at a time. It just flows.
I was just going to say that Dymlos and I are really good at, rooting for hopeless causes. So that's kind of our specialty.
We have done that for a very long time. Yes.
Well, you got to have a win somewhere, and I guess Pantheon's the win that you guys are getting.
That is what we
good.
are hoping for. We're trudging forward with great hope.
All right. Well, we're going to move into some questions now. These are questions that, thanks to our good friend Gulo over at Gulo Gaming, has kind of given us this idea to have all these people on and ask them all the same questions and kind of see what their answers are and kind of see where their walks of life have come in gaming and how it all kind of ended up here. So we'll start with some open-ended questions here, and any answer is great. You can answer it as many times as you want, even if Draq says we take too much time. I don't care.
One answer per thing, Dymlos. Come on, get the guests in line.
There are so many great answers to give in these questions. You have to let the people talk. Come on, Draq.
Let the people speak.
Exactly. Let them eat cake. All right, Lotu. First one. What made you start creating gaming content?
Oh, for the love. How long is this podcast
See, exactly,
again? Because like we're really diving in.
If you know Nathan Napalm, he went like 4.5 hours on this podcast. We could not shut it down. So, there is a certain flexible time limit.
All right. Whew. All right. I don't think we'll go that long. No, seriously, like sometimes I just kind of am bewildered at the places I end up in my life. Like that is it. I have gone through, several different like things that I've done in life. And so it's just so funny because they're all so different. My first like adult career was in the Air Force, which, that's one thing. I left the Air Force and I started a dog training business, dog rehabilitation, training, nutrition. I mean, we're giving dogs the HGTV, like a complete 180 flip, from their old selves to their new selves. They're getting new brains, new bodies. It was fantastic. Awesome. And oddly enough, through that industry, I started doing online webinars because the information that I had, people just needed, they wanted to know more, and there was no place to get it. So I was like, well, I'll start doing these online webinars. And that was sort of my first introduction to just being on a camera on the internet. And then that wrapped up. That industry, came to a close. I was ready to move on. And I have been a gamer my whole life. I grew up I had a Nintendo console. I was playing Duck Hunt when I probably could like just stand up. I was playing, Super Mario Brothers. My favorite game ever was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like the old school like platformer.
Oh, you're gonna fit in real well here.
Yeah, I was so addicted to that game. I was probably like 6 or 7, like definitely kindergarten, first grade. I played that game so much, my mom threw it away. And I still to this day, like I bring that up. Like she put it on the fridge for the longest time. And then I kept asking her about it. I think she just like secretly threw it away. Like my daggone game.
Did she ever admit to it?
she says she doesn't remember this. And I was like, Mom, you threw it away.
A likely story.
Sounds very, very suspicious.
I know. So I grew up with that. I had a PS2, that was a big deal. Had a PlayStation. I was never a PC gamer. I had, Jumpstart first grade on the PC, and that was about it. But it wasn't until, so I played Xbox, I played first person shooters. Like my adult life, I would get home from work and literally me and a bunch of friends would just play Call of Duty like for 3 hours every day after work. So I had some serious hours in that game, a few of them. Halo, big one. So anyway, looping back, I sort of, left the dog industry and I had this ability to like be on camera. And I think I sort of developed the ability to sort of speak clearly and sort of, how it is when you get on camera, like you sort of have to forget that you're talking to a computer monitor and sort of envision you are talking to a group of people. And so I slowly developed that. And actually my husband was the first one. He was like, why don't you have you ever considered streaming? And I was like, what? And, from there I had a few friends who were like, yeah, you could stream. Like people stream all the time. I know somebody who streams. And that's sort of what led me to the idea that like I could do this thing. And then I talk about this on stream a lot, having an idea and then pulling the trigger are two very different things. And so for me, for a few months, I was like, okay, like I can do this thing, let me sort of work out, what would my angle be? Like what purpose would I have in doing this? And really what it came down to was, what is my vision? Like what good could I create with this idea? I don't want to just do something. I want this something to be for good. And that's where it just occurred to me. I was like, well, like half of everything I make can go towards something good. Like I will just save half of everything for something, whatever it is at that time. And we just call it the Act of Kindness Fund now.
Nice.
But the other half I use, for stream upgrades and stuff like that. But as soon as I came to that conclusion, I was like, I can use this thing because anything I do, I put my mind to, I work really hard at it. And so if I'm going to invest that much effort in something like streaming or content creation, it's got to have some motivating like thing that drives me to put forth that much effort. And that's really what it was, is I was like, okay, we can have this like synergistic effect. We can have fun gaming. We can build an awesome community. But at the end of the day, all of this stuff is going to be used for something good. And I'm happy to say that so far we've definitely done that. We've saved like $3,500 and used for various different things so far. And just, we keep growing. And so that fund keeps building faster. And it's just so wonderful to see.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Great story.
I'm so thankful that things have gone the way they have, because at the end of the day, like what's the worth of something, if it's just kind of there, like if it, I guess one measure of something is like, if it disappears, do people feel it disappear? Like, did it have a place? And so my hope is to have a place, have it mean something.
Bringing a little ray of sunshine to the sometimes dark Twitch universe, because sometimes it's a little rough out here.
Truly. I mean, that's it. It really, that was something I considered. I was like, there's so much stuff out there. Like, how can I be different in an authentic way? Like, not just to be different, but like, I don't know. I'm like doing hand movements right now, which are definitely not coming across, but like something, I just wanted it to have purpose. But, I'm very happy to see the direction that we're going, and it hasn't wavered from the start. So I'm very happy about that. Wonderful.
All right. Next question is a little hard hitting here. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Some people can't handle it, but I've got a good feeling about you. And what, in your opinion, what is the greatest moment in gaming?
the thing that like tickles me the most, which to me would be an indicator of something great, has come from playing something like Hollow Knight. So think like a Souls-like game, or a game where you've got big boss battles or something like that. When you have had a serious struggle to win something or defeat something, or I guess you could generalize and say like find something, when there's like a serious struggle and the problem is you. Yeah, but the problem is you. Like this isn't like you were unprepared, or like you didn't know this thing, or you didn't have this skill set yet. You have everything you need, and the daggone problem is you. You're pushing the wrong buttons. You're jumping at like it's on you, and you have to get better. And then you do get better, and then you daggum defeat whatever it is that has been like killing you over and over and over. That feels so good, because Absolutely. That is not just a gaming moment, in my opinion. That's like a learning moment. Like you as 100%. A human had a skill set that you were lacking, and then you got it, and then you won. Like that's fantastic. That's what I think about.
So, Dymlos, did you have any learning moments in Halnir's the other night? Did you feel like you grew any from us dying all the time?
Brutal.
I definitely know every time it's my fault. Like, okay, I took my eyes away for 3 seconds and didn't see the ravage, and now I'm dead. It's fine. I accept
and your whole team's dead too.
Yeah.
Your whole team went down with you. Yeah.
Except for the Necro, who runs out every time and lives because he's a Necro. And
okay, look, let's not make fun of people who zone very quickly. There may be other people who do that quickly.
Yeah, he can't make too much fun, because that's me too. I'm also in the back running as soon as
I'm like, I think we're going down. I'm out, guys. Like, I'm gonna see ya.
Oh, I was just going to say, it is very interesting that you mentioned that, because that's very much the flavor of Pantheon, right? There's this huge difficulty that you effort to complete, and you effort to conquest, and you have to figure out the different strategies, and you have to pay attention to what the mobs are actually doing. Otherwise, it's going to wreck the flow with you. So I think
exactly
that piece of it is also one of my favorite pieces of Pantheon. So it's interesting to hear you say that.
Well, the cool thing about Pantheon too is not only is it you and your mistakes, now you have the added brain tickling feature of having team dynamics as well. And that just like now we're talking layers of awesomeness, and now you've got an old Joe over there. Joe keeps pushing the wrong buttons, but Joe doesn't know that he's the reason that you guys keep wiping, and so now you're like, God, do I have to break it to Joe?
Joe knows. I'm telling Joe. Joe is going to be informed.
See, I'm so anti-conflict and so agreeable. I'm like, it's okay. Joe will figure it out one day. It's okay. Somebody
Joe
else
will never figure it out.
Bless his heart, Joe.
Poor Joe.
You have no idea how many times Draq and I have had come to Joe moments. It's
Joe moments. Yeah, we've got to start using that. The old Joe moment. Like, oh gosh, everybody's had a Joe on their team.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, and also if I ever am the one that messes up, that's why I like to play team games. It's because I just blame Draq, and it's totally fine. Yeah,
totally 100%.
Perfect scapegoat. It's wonderful.
I love it.
All right, Draq, on to your fluffy one-answer word question.
No, you have the fluffy questions. I have
my questions are...
I'm journalism over here. Oh. You're like fluffy. Yeah, you're the entertainment section. I'm hard-hitting news over here.
All right,
hard-hitting news. I'm ready.
Let's hear your closed-ended yes or no questions. Go.
Yes. So you already started. You already said that you found out about Pantheon from Oren and Kalaris, which we love on this channel. Oren's a big friend. We actually had him on 3 weeks
2 episodes ago.
Yeah. 2 episodes ago. Yeah. So
I totally dug that one up to make sure that I was on par. I was like, okay, I'm gonna like Oren's setting the bar here, so I'm gonna listen to the things that he said to make sure I'm in line.
Oren got his own shirt made for his episode, so like the bar is pretty high for Oren
for sure.
Dang.
For sure. He also was Nathan Napalm and went 4.5 hours.
Yeah,
so
he also did.
There was a lot of cutting.
Halfway through the episode, I was like, dude, I'm like, are we going till like midnight? And he's like, I could talk a lot. And I was like, okay.
Understatement. We love you, Oren. Are we cutting this part out?
Oh, we'll see.
We'll see.
Never know what makes the cutting floor. You never know.
Boy, okay.
The problem is whenever you say, are we cutting this? It usually ends up staying in.
Yeah, that absolutely stays. Anyway, back to the question. Yes or no?
Okay,
when exactly? So when did you start following Pantheon? It hasn't been that long, but so when did you actually start?
July.
Wow,
that was such a baby, just such a Pantheon baby.
So
I am. I think technically, July is the first time I hit play and joined the game. But I think I started seeing it. Do you guys know off the top of your head when the NDA was lifted for streaming?
January.
Okay, so I want to say probably it had to be around that time frame. So I want to say whenever Oren started streaming pretty frequently following the NDA lift.
Yeah, because the end of December they let all the old school content creators, which we were included in. They let us for 2 weeks. They let us stream, and we were the only ones that could stream by the end of December.
Oh, okay.
And
wow,
then
we thought we were so cool.
We were so cool for 2 weeks.
I mean, that is awesome. Yeah.
And then January they dropped it for everybody, which was great. It's been a fantastic move.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was smart. Very smart.
Perfect. So here's another. This you're going to answer this question different than everyone else. So, what are your other favorite past MMOs?
Well, it's a really short list. So for anybody who doesn't know, technically speaking, Paleo was my first MMO.
Nice! Yes! We are trying to... We love the people that used to own, or that own EverQuest, the rights to EverQuest now. Daybreak, Darkpod, whatever their parent company now owns Paleo. They were the ones that bought Paleo out.
Wait, I had no idea.
Yeah.
They're
that's
all part of
actually
the same
hilarious.
thing.
So we are absolutely all about, and maybe sometimes we poke a little fun at it, but for the most part, yeah, right. it's cozy MMO, not really our thing.
How can you get more opposites?
Yeah, exactly.
Of all the other.
That's why we're pro.
There's no conflict in Paleo. That's the problem with it. There's no conflict. Everybody is so happy and their lives are perfect. All they need is that next little bug, and then things
it's the
will
Facebook
be great.
MMOs, and it makes me sick.
Oh gosh, yeah. But I totally get why people love it. So no hate. It just very quickly wasn't for me. But no, in all seriousness, I had been looking for an MMO for a while. And I think the reason I have never played them before is because I was a console gamer.
Yep.
Like we had always had PlayStation and Xbox, and the PC was for writing essays.
Exactly.
That's all I used it for. And so for quite a few months, I would just kind of like Google, I'd be like, what MMOs are out there? Like I didn't even know how to scratch the surface of this genre because it's so huge and it's nothing that I had never participated in before. And so of course I got the classics like
Star Stable Online.
I don't think that one came up on the Google
gotcha.
search.
Okay. That's the My Little Pony MMO, if you didn't know.
Oh, dang. I'm surprised. Dang it. I kind of want to check that out. That'll be like a channel point challenge for everybody.
Yep. Check it out. You make your own horse and it's great.
Oh, that's hilarious. Do people play it?
People love it.
Oh yeah, no, it's got a big community. It's something else.
I'm kind of nervous. That makes me wonder who's playing that game.
Don't go too deep. It's also got a dark side. Like there's definitely a dark side in there too. So
pay to prance. It's terrible.
There's some of that going on too. So.
Okay. All right. So other MMOs that came across, I mean, the big ones all came across, and I was like, these games, Guild Wars, World of Warcraft, like these things have been out for so long. At this point, I just feel like I can't dive in. That was kind of my mindset.
It's a lot to catch up to. It's like taking on a 8-season, hour-long episode.
Yeah, and then you have to decide show. Like which version do you want to play? And I was like, I just the what, like basic. Like I was so clueless. And so the idea was I wanted a game that I could invest a lot of time in, like time and effort, and know that it's being rewarded. Like I'm working so hard within this one game and I can progress this one character, because the problem with a lot of like ARPGs, I think they're so fun, but they do kind of have a conclusion. Same thing, survival crafting. You can play with your friends, and a lot of these games coming out now, you can play with quite a few friends. Enshrouded, you can play with up to 18 people. All the survival crafting games I've played lately, like Small Land, you can play with up to, I think, like 10 people, 8 to 10 people on the same server. So you can play with a solid group of people, but they inevitably have like sort of a conclusion. Like, yes, you can always continue crafting and building and exploring, but like you've explored the boundaries of the game and you've experienced all the bosses, and that's it. They're not really going to update the game further. So MMOs are awesome because they have all the elements from all these other games. They have crafting, they have survival elements, they have the social aspect, obviously. You get to do exploring, you get to have those boss fights. Like it has just a little bit of everything in the game, and they do it very well. And it's a live service game, so the content never really becomes stale, or that's the idea anyway. So it sort of was just like me looking for an MMO, and then Oren and Kylara streaming Pantheon at the same time, and their enthusiasm for the game. And then a bunch of people that sort of mix and match within our different communities. They were all excited. And really the thing was, Pantheon had a free to play weekend, and so many people that I know played and I didn't play, and they were having so much fun. And so all of a sudden I've got this FOMO. And I'm like, what the heck? And the weekend's over. I don't get to play. And I'm like, what the heck did I just miss out on? And so like the next opportunity I had to jump in, that's when I did it. And the rest is history.
Awesome.
Love it. So all the different ideas and things that Pantheon's bringing to the genre, what do you like about Pantheon that's different from other games?
I think there's two things that come to mind right away. The first is Pantheon's struggle. And I talk about this on the stream a lot. There is nothing in that game that does not come without friction. And I would say a solid 80% of that is intended, and 20% is in the works. Things that just still need to be worked on within the game. But nothing is easy. You want to go from point A to point B, you're probably going to die. You want to explore this area, you're probably going to die. And be
ready to die.
Be ready. Yeah. Like, unless like you've done this a million times and you're over leveled and you're with a team of 6, then like probably you're not going to die at that point.
Even then, you're probably going to get lost like me and probably still die.
Yeah. Well, you also may have Joe in your group, tag up Joe.
Come on, Joe.
But
pick it up.
The difficulty of the game immediately had me hooked, because no other game that I have experienced ever in my whole life, when you get dropped off and you start the game and you're in a newbie area, you expect to win those battles. You just expect it. That is an expectation of a player in most modern games. I don't know of any other one, unless you're playing a Dark Souls game and like, you find your first big boss, like you're probably going to die. Okay. But any ARPG, any MMO that you start with, like you're going to win. And then I get into Pantheon and I dive into this game. First of all, I don't even know how to swing the camera. Okay. Like I was a total noob, but I get in this game and I'm trying to dodge things too. Okay. I thought this was active combat. It was not.
I'm hitting the space bar. Why am I not moving?
I was like, what's the button for dodge in this daggum game? Like, how do I parry, you know? But anyway, like I die. I found this rat, I died. I found a deer and I died. I found a wolf, I died. I was like, oh, a bumblebee. This should be easy. Died. And I'm over here.
The deer are definitely undercons.
Oh, dude, the deer are brutal, especially the
Stay
one
away
with the
from the
horns.
rabbits.
Yeah, gosh. The dock rats, what are those called? The dwarf rats? Those are very brutal. Okay, but I didn't even know how to con things, but that's besides the point. Conning, very helpful. Should do it. Highly recommend. But you know, that's what first got me stuck to this game is I was like, here is something that I know absolutely nothing about, and I'm getting absolutely crushed by this little cute deer. Like, what am I doing wrong? And then truly the other thing that
so
sets
great.
this game apart is the community. I have never joined a game, I guess, where the community is the life of the game. Like Pantheon is great. The gameplay is great, but the team at Visionary Realms and the people who love this game and support this game's development and like support the vision for this game, just phenomenal. For the community to come together and not laugh at me too much, and teach me the most basic things. Like I learned so much in my first season in the game that I had tears in my eyes because that character got wiped at the end of the season. I was just like, oh my, I just was like,
The wipes are rough.
This character reflects like me entering the world of an MMO, and not only just any MMO, but like Pantheon. It's so hard to describe, but like seeing that character get wiped was just kind of like me taking a moment to reflect on how the community helps me learn and just like my first few baby steps in an MMO. And it was just really special. So the community and the difficulty for me is like the thing that sets Pantheon apart. It is so different. And I think those two things alone can carry it, honestly.
Yeah. Angry Karen's never coming back. Like say that's
actually a good thing. I felt really off. I love the characters that I play as. Character customization matters a lot to me.
Yeah, it does.
And that Karen wasn't doing it.
Not good. Not good at all.
She's still off somewhere being angry at everyone. So, but
I would be okay. I would be okay with her like being an NPC somewhere. You know, like there's Angry Kevin or whatever his name is.
Hilarious.
Like Angry Karen could be around the bend somewhere.
Something.
That would be fine.
Yeah, she needs therapy or something. I'm not sure what it is, but she needs to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
All right, now this is the most important question. N is being recorded for all time. We're going to review this in 25 years and read it out loud. So if you don't stick to this, we're coming for you.
Okay. All right. This is a really good moment for me because I tend to be extremely inflexible. So this is good.
Yes, that's right up my alley. I'm like, I pick a race, I pick a class, and that's what it is. I'm not moving off of that. I can't do this whole, I play 18 characters and everything's all different. I don't do that. I pick one race, one class, and I roll with it. So what is going to be your race class combination?
All right. For all eternity, for posterity, Lotu will be playing as an elf shaman.
Yes.
Oh,
that's my main for now. I've been having a lot of fun with the enchanter. However, she is not as fun as my shaman. That shaman is just a jack of all trades. I can play with so many different groups. I can be extremely flexible. I love being able to heal and also not if I don't need to. I love buffing. I love having my wolf companion. I love it. And then elves are just always kind of like like when I think of high fantasy, like I love the elven race.
Are you high elf or wood elf?
Oh, that's not what they're called in this game, Draq.
It doesn't matter. I need to know.
What's the difference? Is one of them evil? I don't like being evil.
Nature hippie or hoity-toity elf.
Oh, hoity-toity all the way.
Yes!
Yeah.
So high elf.
I am a Ravenclaw. So like I love the knowledge and the books and I think that's what the high elves have.
Yeah. Awesome. What about your favorite MMORPG story? I guess from Pantheon.
I hope it's from Palia.
Or Palia, yes.
Oh gosh.
I'd love a Palia story.
I mean, I'm kind of leaning on the story of me just dying 17 times in a row as I'm like trying to figure out how to swing my camera. I wish.
Yeah, the more embarrassing, the better the story. This is.
I mean, I wish I had this on camera, but unfortunately, the first time I jumped in Pantheon was off stream. It was brutal and I felt dumb. And I'm pretty sure I verbalized in my room by myself, why am I so dumb? Like, I went into a building, I think it was like the blacksmith building, and there were stairs in there. I couldn't get up the stairs.
I don't think that was your fault.
I just was so used to like ARPGs or any action game where the camera follows your mouse, you know? And so just honestly, this is so dumb, but just like learning to right click the mouse was a big deal. Dying 16 times in a row to rats, that was a pretty big deal. And I'm pretty sure the first time I streamed it, Oren was like, hey, you should push the C button. And I was playing as a ranger, actually was my very first class that I played as, which is a pretty go-to first class for me.
Yeah. Solid hybrid. Absolutely.
Yeah. You can kind of run around solo, be kind of independent, stay at range in case you need to run really fast, those things. But Oren said push C, and then the ranger also has the tracking, which was an easy visual for me to understand the different text colors and what they meant, because they sort of have it listed there ranked, which is very nice. So I think that's my favorite story so far. And I mean, I've got some hilarious like group stories. I'm pretty sure like one person he's never going to play with me ever again. But I
Joe.
think my death stories. Yeah. I was the Joe. I'm pretty sure I was Joe.
I mean, if it was like your third time playing, you get a little leeway before you become Joe.
Yeah. Well, then in that case, people have been extremely generous with my Joe time frame. That's for sure.
Love it. All right. Well, back to my awesome questions that are well thought out and
super awesome.
If you were stuck on a desert island with one game for the rest of your life, no internet, what would it be?
Zelda Breath of the Wild. Easy. Done. The end.
Love it. Love it.
It's a masterpiece. Sorry, Pantheon. No game will top Zelda Breath of the Wild.
Well, Joppa feels that way too. Like there's a lot of Breath of the Wild stuff in Pantheon now, like the whole climbing. We were supposed to have gliders at one point, I think
Breath gliders are still coming. I don't think gliders are dead.
I hope so.
That needs to be in the game.
I completely agree. Totally fun. Absolutely a blast. Perfect answer. So we would hope that you would use this platform to kind of promote your content a little bit. So 2 questions on that. What is something that your community might not know about you?
I don't talk about this a whole lot, but when I was in the Air Force, I was a federal agent in the Air Force. So like people tend to know about NCIS because they had a cool TV show. I basically did that, but for the Air Force, which funny enough, they offered the Air Force the rights to that show first and they declined.
Really?
So then they went to the Navy. Yeah. So it could have been a daggum big deal, but
second.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it would have been called OSI because that's what we're called. But I think even those letters don't sound as cool as NCIS.
I'm just picturing Lotu like slamming somebody over the top of a car hood, slapping the cups down.
I always played the good cop. I was always the good cop. No,
You can tell me that mean officer fine. Joe over there, he doesn't like you, but I love you. Just tell me all about your illicit drug trafficking.
I totally understand what you've been going through. Like anybody would have done that in your situation. Like, tell me about that. Yeah, no. But honestly, like and of course, like real life is never like the TV shows. There was so much paperwork and like, just being organized and writing stuff down. And essentially you're just like writing little essays all the time. That like, that really played to my strengths. Just staying organized, having all that stuff down and making the phone calls and stuff. So it was good. It wasn't for me long term. I'm obviously not still doing it, but it was a very interesting career. I'm thankful for the people I encountered and, the skill set that I got there. But also glad that I'm not doing it anymore.
Oof. Yeah. I can understand why you don't talk about that. I'm sure there's a lot of funny stories that you can't say. So
it's just very unique. And also at this point, I mean, it was so long ago, like like I remember doing it. It's part of me, but it's just so in the past that I just don't think about it much.
Describe what types of content you do for people that have not seen your videos.
Well, I would like to think that I have a very thoughtful, well planned out sort of formula for my creation, my content creation, and that's just not the case. So, I mean, I live stream is like the core of what I do. I stream on Twitch, typically weekdays starting at 9 a.m. Pacific time. That's where like our community grows and builds. And that's where like our interaction happens. And recently we've been very focused on just MMO content, whether it's Pantheon or me exploring other things. We've got Ashes of Creation coming up. We're playing Brighter Shores, which that's a brand new early access MMO dropping tomorrow, Wednesday, in the past for everybody who's going to be listening to this. So that's like the core of our community there and the core of my content creation. And then I branched that out into YouTube as well. And so if you go to the YouTube right now, you're going to see a whole lot of Subnautica playthrough episodes. There's Hollow Knight playthrough episodes.
Great game.
And there's Outer Wilds playthrough episodes as well. And I'm about to start posting the DLC for those. So that's kind of where the content creation started with YouTube, but I'm trying to, as I have time and motivation to do so, post more than just playthroughs. Like I have very strong opinions about things. They tend to be very positive when it comes to Pantheon, but I have, opinions otherwise. And so I just wanted to try to start capturing those things and just like putting my thoughts out onto YouTube when it comes to, different games. So I've got some videos on Pantheon. I've got some videos on just like little games that I've played through just as like a little review. So I'm trying to grow the YouTube space a little bit and have just more like actual content that we can discuss, not just a playthrough. I think playthroughs will always be part of the content, but I like,
it's part of the algorithm. Got to get the people to you, right?
That's true. Like you've got to find things that people look up, and that's evergreen content as well. But truly, one of the things that I always wanted to do with my live streams is I wanted to feature these little tiny games that are just like excellent, but they don't have like the following that they should, maybe like little indie games with like super powerful narratives, or like little indie games that have like this wicked awesome art style that we haven't seen. And there's so much good stuff out there. And unfortunately, like just looking at streaming, like from a business perspective, you can't grow if you're streaming tiny games, right. like people won't find you.
Pretty rough.
And so, yeah, it stinks to talk about that. People want to we like the idea of just streaming what we want to play. And I will never stream something that I do not want to play, but we have to be smart about it too and be like, if 2 people are watching this game, like I hope those 2 people love me, you know, and they, but that's not the way. So my idea is I would love to grow to the point where I can play these little indie games and people still show up and they're like, oh, this looks awesome, you know, and then I can start featuring those on my YouTube as well. But those are like little bonuses. Like I would love to be able to do that because there's so many cool games out there that I want to show people and I want to play and I want to investigate with people. So that's kind of like my hope for the future.
Very cool.
This week in Visionary Realms News and Notes.
All right. Well, we had a newsletter. Very exciting newsletter. Well, kind of exciting. Yeah, I mean, the newsletter's really kind of for people that are really on the outside looking in that haven't checked in for a while. So you kind of.
But again, aren't they watching like videos? I feel like
no one has time to watch, 15 hours of Joppa every week.
Yeah, let me get the TLDR of the newsletter. Can I just get 3 sentences?
That's what we're doing right here.
Oh, right. We're right. Yes. That's our job.
Lotu, did you read the newsletter?
Oh, I read the newsletter on stream today.
Yep. Oh, nice.
Beautiful.
Very cool. If I left out any of the highlights that on the newsletter, make sure to add them. But the few things that I took from it, I forgot about the link tree. I was very excited about the link tree. There's lots of good stuff on there. There were some social medias that I didn't even know that VR was doing or updating. So the link tree is going to be in the description below. So if you want to check that out, make sure you hit that. Also, ogres and dwarves soon. I didn't know how soon ogres and dwarves were, but apparently they're going to be soon.
Which is fine. Like they're not to be expected until EA. So, when we all get in December, that's when they should be. But, if we can get in them before that, that's cool. That'd be great.
Would you make an ogre or a dwarf, Lotu?
Absolutely not. No.
I am in the same boat.
If you were forced to be a dwarven woman, would you have a beard?
Absolutely not. Although the funny thing is, I remember being in Bronze's stream when he was very first working on the female dwarven beards. And I'm quoting myself almost exactly. I said, wow, those beards really add a touch of femininity to the female dwarves. And I was being so sincere. And then people started laughing at my comment. And I was like, oh, that is kind of like a really weird thing to say. But truly, like the beards on the female dwarves, like it really added something because, they're like braided. And,
Absolutely.
It's like tiny.
Just like any other hair, right? Yeah, absolutely.
But that would be no. I have enough time working on the hair on my own head. I can't imagine having like more on my face. They probably spend so much money on conditioner, let me tell you.
I could, I've got a beard, so I could certainly turn you on to some like nice bearded oils and some, some conditioners, beard specific conditioners.
I'm so low maintenance. I couldn't even, I don't have the time.
Also, the $50 pledge, the hallmark deal of the century, now comes with a buddy key. Are you kidding me? This is the best deal ever. So you get Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, you get to get in today, and you get a buddy in. Are you kidding me? This is a crazy good deal.
Is this happening right now?
Right now, as of the newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we giving this game away?
Is like, it's too cheap. Quit giving the game away.
We need to make some money. We need money to get developers in.
I feel like this is a clue, right? Okay, so first of all, I think it should be noted that the buddy keys are not immediate, right?
Sure.
So
it's all
those
manual.
get pushed out. Yeah. And they get pushed out in waves, I think. So your buddy may not get in as quickly as you, basically. And I don't know what their timeline is on turning around the buddy key. So just to note that. But
buddies just happened to get 2 weeks before EA wipes.
I mean, I don't know if the VIP buddy keys are different, but when I got my VIP buddy key the day after I set it up.
Oh.
I think that's because no one was using them.
I don't know.
You probably were like one of 7 people that used it.
I mean, knowing them, it's probably very quick at this point, but I don't think they're necessarily promised as quick as the pledge is.
Yeah, we never can promise that it would be the same day.
As you said, VR is often, they won't promise things, but they'll
just do them.
Their turnaround time is usually pretty quick.
They over deliver on everything. Sure. Yeah, it's crazy. So then here's the clue. Here's what I was thinking about. Do you think VR is dumb enough to all of a sudden?
Are you trying to get us in trouble?
Yeah, but they already don't like us, Lotu. Don't put words in our mouth.
No. Do you think, this isn't a question, this is a rhetorical, do you think they're dumb enough to all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, our game is actually only worth $25? Or the more likely situation in my mind is I think we could expect the early access price to be right around $25, since that kind of is like a little indicator that maybe
think that's the case. Yep.
Yeah. So I think we're getting a little clue here around the price point that they are happy with giving their game away.
All right, let's get to the fun stuff. Sav is cracking down on the exploiters, Marks. So
looking at you.
So if you got in on I don't know if you saw this, Lotu, but people were giving their harvesting weapons to pets, and since there's no delay on a pet weapon, it just instantly attacks over and over and over again, super, super fast. And it was just mowing down mobs.
Oh, see, I mean, I saw Sav cracking down and I was like, you go get him, Sav. I didn't know what the heck that exploit was. Like, I was like, yeah, go get him, you baddies. You know, and I was like, I don't even know what's making him mad, but here we are.
Yeah, that's what the exploit was, because you would just give the harvesting tool to your pet, and then it would just destroy things. Because obviously having a weapon that has no delay is very bad. So
it's pretty funny to watch, though. It looked like they were kind of headbanging. They were swinging so fast.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
we did have a moment on our stream where we confirmed that the bug was there. You know,
we're just testing.
There's science.
Yes.
Science.
Doing our due diligence as VIPs.
We did report it to Savanya after we were done. So
you reported your own selves?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Good job.
We reported the bug. We
were doing it.
Right. Okay.
Draq is a very wholesome person.
What a good job. Good job.
We're both from Nebraska, so we've got good Midwestern values.
Sometimes.
It's good with corn on the side. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Hey, Joppa, you get me so excited about classes and abilities. When you say you're someone, I'll come and friends for me. Hey, Joppa, I hoped your words were pure gold. My broken heart is my fault, so now I carry around an extra shaker of salt. Hey, Joppa.
All right, only 55 minutes this week of Joppa streaming. Joppa had the sickness. Unconfirmed whether that was the Rona or not, but he said
Ben and I would tell you it was. He'd make you think
Ben
it was.
Ben and I's on it. He is accessing the satellites as we speak. But Joppa said even though he's been sick and not streaming, that he's still been working. So all of you haters out there, don't even start. Don't post it in the comments. Joppa's been working this whole time.
Does Joppa not get sick time? Come on.
Apparently not.
Wow.
Joppa gets no sick time. He is nose to the grindstone. It's just EA or
cracking
bust.
That whip.
He is cracking the whip, and there's no stopping Super Joppa.
Super Joppa. Poor guy.
Are you
Poor Joppa.
Lotu, are you a person that just like do you play through the pain when you get sick, or do you just curl up in a ball and are dead to the world?
Well, what you seem to be forgetting is the man sickness is very different from the woman sickness.
True. That is very true.
And while I may be under the weather sometimes, it does not affect me whatsoever.
It can't. Especially if you have kids.
There's been a few times I have been like so sick, like just physically unable to like get up. We had the flu really bad. We had the stomach bug one time. Oh my God. I would not wish that on my worst enemy. It was terrible. But typically I can keep on going. Now, headaches, migraines, kryptonite. If I get one of those, I'm out. Like I'm useless to the world. So I guess that's my man flu.
Whoa, I feel attacked.
You should. We are just the worst sick people of all time. I completely
You're just
agree.
so sick. I know. So sick.
My wife hates it when I'm sick because I'm just like, I just want orange juice and clam chowder.
Then go get it yourself.
That's pretty much what she said.
Wait, hold on. Rewind.
Yeah, that's a weird
Orange juice and clam chowder?
Yeah, that's my go-to sick food.
Drac is an enigma. Don't
Nebraska?
try to like unpack anything about him. You don't want to go down that rabbit hole. It's worse than Reddit.
Orange juice and clam chowder.
That's
okay.
gross. It's like,
All
here, would
right.
you like some toothpaste with your orange juice? Yeah, that sounds great.
I'm surprised that's not on the side, honestly.
Well, when your favorite snack is water,
Oh,
then
really?
or your second favorite snack is water.
Today?
Yeah. Yes. So you'll get to know here shortly, Drac is terrible at making top 5 lists. So
Whatever. My top 5 lists are golden. All right, moving on. Past the sickness. We're past the sickness. We did get 55 minutes of Joppa streaming this week, and he did drop a few beans. Number 1, he's avoided this question in the past, but not today. He said joysticks. He's not opposed to joysticks. They're not a focus, but he's not opposed to it. And Pantheon definitely could have some joystick compatibility post-launch. But you console gamers, are you excited about joysticks?
no.
Wow. Let's put it this way. I wouldn't ever use one on my PC. However, I have a Steam Deck.
Mhm.
Oh.
And if it's got controller support, then that would really make the Steam Deck a viable Pantheon console. And I'm a huge fan of that.
That's actually a good point.
Playing the Pantheon on the Steam Deck would be amazing. That would
I just
be
imagine
awesome.
even just for crafting, like nobody wants to be what's going to happen is people are going to be like trying to make a group and they're like, hey, you cleric over there, you want to join our group? And they're like, yeah, I'm available. It's like, but are you on a Steam Deck? And if the answer is yes, they're going to say, never mind, we're full. So that may happen. But honestly, for running around and just like gathering and crafting, I feel like having that on your Steam Deck would be so cool. Like you're in bed and you're like, hold on, 30 minutes of crafting, go, level up your crafting level. That would be so cool.
Or more important than that, selling your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sending out a tell.
Because I can just sit there and sell my stuff on my Steam Deck and I can be working and then all of a sudden I see a little tell on the Steam Deck and I can rip somebody off.
Meet you at the bank. Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Don't be ripping people off, Drac. Come on.
Joppa has shown off warrior banners. How long have we been waiting for warrior banners, Dymlos?
Literally 8 years.
8 years.
Yeah.
Banners
The
coming
warrior was in at one
soon.
point, and then they took him out, and then they're back in, and they still don't have banners.
But
And here we are.
Joppa showed the banners on stream. He described them as very totem-like. He showed that they can both put buffs on himself, and they can also put debuffs on mobs, which is very, very exciting.
You said the magic word, totem.
Totem.
I love Shaman Totem in WoW. Love Shaman Totem. Maybe I'm going to be playing a warrior and not a paladin.
Whoa, hold on.
We'll see.
Hold
We'll
on.
see.
Breaking news.
I just really like totems a lot, okay? I just really like totems.
He said that banners won't be attackable except for the possibility of a special decoy banner, which you would use to draw the aggro of mobs and then they would destroy it.
This is sounding better and better.
Sounds pretty cool. Warriors possible also using banners for mobility. So you could set some banners up and you like in different places and then you charge to the different banners around the battlefield. The way he talks about it is amazing. And the fact that it's actually a system in the game now, I think is really good. And of course we need it because if we're going to have warrior skills to 40, then there's going to have to be some banners.
Oh, Joppa, you better start working on that paladin, or I'm going to be switching here real quick. I need some paladin love. 15 is not enough.
Also, the big drop, we got some new mobs, some new graphics for new mobs, some really cool stuff. We have what I'm calling huge worm, or an ash coil maw. We got kind of a scaled wolf thing, and we have the giant stone golem. So Joppa was showing those off. The art is looking really good.
It looks real good.
You know, when we went to the new art style, I can't lie, it was sad.
Some of us are still sad.
The art's coming around. It's starting to hook me.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying this monster art.
And like they said, the lighting helped out a ton too. Like that was a huge chunk of it. So
huge chunk.
The more we play it, the more I get used to that whole cartoony look. I still miss, more realistic look, but I would rather have a game. I've said this 100 times. I'd rather have a game in this style than not have a game at all. So whatever it takes to make Pantheon work, do it, and we'll just get over it. It'll be fine.
Yeah, I do think it's worth mentioning. He mentioned that the game still does not have illumination, like overall illumination.
Yep, they're still working on that.
Yeah, and he said like it's because they didn't have like enough overhead space, which I took to mean like it would have been too much processing for like the average user to be able to handle at this point. And he said they've created that overhead, and so we should expect to see that here. I don't know what timeline he put on that. I'd have to recheck, but he said adding that will add just a whole nother dimension of beauty to the game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I wonder how much this illumination change will impact that, because it sounded like a pretty big deal the way he described it.
Hey, y'all are doing it, so we're dishing it. This is Community Spotlight from your boy Benonai. Streamers are coming out on fire, like Draq wiping his butt with his fireball hand. Now that VIPs, champs, and supporters all have unlimited access to Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and especially in a demographic that has been underrepresented for the last, all the years. Not non-existent, but definitely needed more. Lotu is a female gamer, joined the Pantheon community, being an established streamer with a wholesome, family-friendly gaming stream, mostly of single-player RPGs, and decided to try out Pantheon at the nudging of a streaming peer. Her fresh take on playing MMOs and her communities became an interesting data point for Visionary Realms, who began following her stream and interacting, helping to catch her up on the history of MMOs and what is so special about Pantheon. And then, the content creator channel in the official Discord began seeing other female gamers. Minnie Love is another streamer with a healthy following, not as family friendly, but also a great community. And another player new to Pantheon, Mama Mouse Chaos, joined recently, who has a very fun and quirky stream and a very large community. So, let's all show our girl gamers some love and drop by their streams and tell them we appreciate them. Information on their channels is in the notes and right here. And I would suck at my job if one of the first spotlights of my tenure on this show was not the incredible EU Guild of Petrichor. If you know, you know. But for those that don't, Petrichor has been around for a while. They are a powerhouse raiding guild that has contributed greatly to VR during the VIP pre-alpha days, but their real contribution has been in their data collection for the good of the community. As all MMOs become more aged, the world becomes easier to research, and Petrichor, under the hand of Cesium, has built the most robust map tool for Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. It is searchable, it has POIs, named mobs, NPCs, camps, all playable areas mapped out and very easy to read given the verticality of many of the playable areas in the game. Can't figure out where you're going in the Goblin Caves? Head over to Petrichor's main page and click the link to Shalazam to see not just interactable maps, but also saved image files for convenience. And the best part is, they need the community, yes, your help to keep the map up to date and factual. They are looking for the community's help in sending in camp spot info, mob info, errors, and new things you may find. They are truly doing a huge effort for the community, so make sure to help them out. And they're still recruiting, so give them a shout to learn more. Don't forget to watch the official forum's lore page for updates as we fill in the rest of the official release lore there. And as always, watch your back. This is Pantheon. Viva Racha, baby. I'm out.
From the SGL Action News Desk, this is MMO News, featuring your anchors, Draq and Dymlos.
All right, well, gaming news. We try to keep this segment short because the whole thing is about gaming, mostly about Pantheon. So we don't want to stray too far away from what we're doing here. But some highlights. First off, Throne and Liberty. We've got 4.5 million players spending 133 million hours and doing a lot of stuff, crazy stuff on there. I can absolutely believe this. Our friends Gulo and Mr. C and Nathan and that whole crew have been playing this quite a bit. They're really enjoying it. Even Mugen likes it. Mugen, who hates everything, is loving this game and really dropping a lot of time into it. Now, that being said, he was one of the 3 people that played Fractured Online, so he can pretty much like anything. So
we also have our own crew, Chaos Theory. We have Zelik, Aaron Ellis. We have Sarah, Essen, and
go check them out.
Playing on Thursdays.
Twitch, staticgroup.live.
It's not my thing. It's a little weeby for me.
Sure.
Oh,
It's
that's a good word.
Final Fantasy leaning for me.
Weeby. I'm gonna start using that. Weeby.
But I'm excited. I'm excited that an MMO has come out and we got 4.5 million people playing it. I think that the MMO space needs this. They need games that I don't like that are succeeding and making money.
Developers, please develop. We need you.
Develop more MMOs. And hey, while you're at it, why don't you come invest in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, because we also.
But they don't want to change anything, so come, just with your money.
Just only wallets, please.
Yeah.
Preferably an unlimited credit card.
Moving on. Okay, we also have our friends over at Monsters and Memories. There's not really a whole lot to report here, but I wanted to bring this up because I've got a new favorite viewer who may or may not have something to do with the development of this game. You know who you are. Wink, wink, wink. And so I want to bring this up that they might be having another test, and I'm really excited. So people that are, I know that this is the running meme, and Draq show the meme again up on the string right now.
I'll show it. Done. Magic.
When we hear Pantheon, we always talk about Monsters and Memories along with it because they're, kind of right there. It's in the same fashion that Ashes of Creation is. But there's another test, hopefully before the end of the year. So be on the lookout. If you're into Monsters and Memories, there may be another test coming, and I might get my first dive into Monsters and Memories.
All right. So 2 things. Number 1, if you're a random developer of any MMORPG ever, and you would like to reach the millions of viewers that we have here at
millions,
Live, all you have to really do is just send Dymlos any type of random message, and he will drool and fawn all over you, and probably just insert you into every rewind from here till probably 2026.
No. Come on, I can't be bought that easy. But
easy.
I will say that this person is single-handedly trying to make me not sound dumb on this show anymore. Like, actually make me informed about how games work and are. So when I, poo-poo on things, that I've got a better idea. I don't just run my fat mouth and say a bunch of really stupid stuff online, and then it's on the internet forever. So I appreciate taking the time to make me a better gamer and a more thoughtful human towards game developers. So,
Lotu, have you ever tried or gotten into looking at Monsters and Memories?
So that game keeps getting brought up ever since I started playing Pantheon. I mean, ever since people have brought it up, I've been following it and I just haven't had an opportunity to jump in. There was a play test that happened, probably the last one. And I think their play tests are always on the weekend.
Yeah,
and
they are.
Surprisingly,
it's super rough.
Yeah, it's a little more difficult for me because weekends are not when I'm attached to my computer, so haven't jumped in. I mean, the same thing happened to EverQuest Online. Like now I'm following that, but their play test was over the weekend. So, sorry, Evercraft. I'm sorry.
I was you missed the boat on EverQuest Online.
I'm about 20 years late to that one. No,
we still got a kicking community of 7 people.
I actually started playing, after. So funny enough, I played Pantheon like the first week I ever got access, and then lost my access, and I'm like over here, like, what the heck am I supposed to play now?
Twiddling the thumbs.
I downloaded EverQuest, and me and a few people like ran around the world and made new characters and stuff. I probably have a solid 15 hours in the game. I don't want to brag or anything, but did some stuff. I built myself a human ranger.
Very cool.
But no, I meant EverCraft Online. Now people were so nice. To be fair, people were giving us stuff like left and right. I was probably like the most OP like level 5 ever, because I don't even know what people were giving me, but I was getting stuff. So that was funny. But yeah, so I've been keeping an eye on EverQuest Online now and Monsters and Memories, just because like I feel like once you dive into the MMO world, like you just kind of need to check it all out and see what's going on.
First hit's free.
Right? Yeah. I picked a good one. But
you did.
So
if you want old school MMOs, this is definitely going to be as old school as it gets. A lot of people, one of the waves that has kind of left as far as like people that are following both is that Pantheon has kind of moved away from being like EverQuest. It's got the EverQuest roots, but it's becoming its own game. I mean, if we take an honest look at it, every day we get further and further away from EverQuest, which is fine. It doesn't bother me, but some people just want EverQuest 2.0, and that is not right. Right.
Yeah,
you're right, because there is an EverQuest 2. Let's say 1.5. How about that? But
yeah, that's actually more accurate. Yeah. They want 1.5.
Nerd numbers. This is just something that, and I should state that Monsters and Memories they do have their own flair. They take away from other games as well. There's going to be stuff from WoW. There's going to be stuff from Guild Wars. It's not just a EQ clone either. There's a lot of EQ heart to it, certainly, especially like the graphics and the way everything looks. But there will be a lot different as well. So it looks like a good one. If you want to do old school, this is about as old school, new school as it gets.
Yeah. And I think the way that I've sort of looked at, I mean, from afar, again, I haven't been able to play the game, is Monsters and Memories is made for people who want that EverQuest experience again. They want to play 100%. It again, but they don't want to play it again. They don't want to play EverQuest. Dude. They've done that, exactly. Been there, done that, thousands of hours. Exactly. So they're ready for that experience again. And I totally get that. I think where Pantheon's strength comes from is they've taken the DNA, but they're building something new that can appeal to the EverQuest population as well. Maybe not the most hardcore 1% of people. Maybe they'll be upset with the way things have diverged a little bit, but it has the opportunity to pull in people like me who, I mean, I'm going to test Monsters and Memories. I want to check it out. I want to see what it's about. I want to, be knowledgeable about what's going on in this MMO like niche, but it's not a game that I will likely fall in love with because I don't have the nostalgia, framework that a lot of people are working with by having EverQuest as like your foundation. Like that means so much to you that it gives you this lens to look at a game like Monsters and Memories and play with that I just don't have. And I see it as a game that like probably has some really cool elements. And if you're playing with your friends, it's going to be hilarious. Like anything you play with your friends, like that's going to be super fun. But I don't see how a game like that is going to draw a new population. And so I think that's
they're
where
looking to either. Yeah.
And exactly. They're not looking to, they're building it for a very specific population of people. And I think they're going to be very successful with that. But I think when people get a little grumpy about how Pantheon has like diverged from some elements of EverQuest, my perspective is that's a good thing. Like we are building a new game. We're like 20 plus years away from when EverQuest was built, and EverQuest was a fantastic success. But like another game can also be a fantastic success, even if it doesn't look exactly like this other one.
We've been around long enough to know that like all these people, they get all grumpy, they post on the Discord, they're like, rah, 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 and then they go away for a while, they make a board game, and then they come back. So it'll be fine. It's not a problem.
This is our running gag of what happens to people when they leave.
I mean, I'm a huge board gamer, so this is good. I'm glad we've got board game developers out there. Hey, I'll test it out. Let's play.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
Maybe.
5,
Draq, I'm so disappointed in you.
4,
Luckily, every week I dominate this list and just destroy Dymlos.
3,
I thought you would just tuck your head between,
No
your butt
way!
cheeks.
No, my list is
And
amazing.
It's not at all.
2,
Oh, already your list is the worst. Your list is the worst.
1.
We are here with a special top 5 for our guest today, because if you don't know, she does origami live on her stream. Not a skill that I have, but I have appreciated some origami over the years.
It's art.
And
it's beautiful art. How can you not like it, right?
Hey, hold on.
What?
As the viewers have come to realize,
Oh, no.
even though I don't know much about origami,
Or
of course
anything.
my list will be better than yours, because I mean, that's how I do things.
There's
So-
zero chance that your list will be better than mine. But anyway, Lotu, I struggle. I'll be honest with you. I really struggle to come up with top 5 lists each week. It gets a little more difficult every time we do a show. And then when we have a guest, I really want to like make it flow with the guest. And so I've seen some of your streams, and I saw that you like were doing a 50 cranes for 50 days or something along the lines of that. Can you kind of explain a little bit about that?
Yeah. So these cranes actually, I mean, they feel relatively new, but we actually started doing them in February. And the idea is it kind of goes back to, one of the core like things that I'm trying to accomplish with our stream is to build a genuine community. And along with that, like I care about every single person who spends time in the stream. Like I may not know everybody personally. I mean, I definitely don't know everybody personally.
How could you?
It's, I mean, I see screen names and stuff, but like big picture, like I think there's such purpose and beauty in the fact that we can have, I push go live, I'm on the internet, and people consistently decide to spend their time in that stream. I think that's extremely valuable. And so one of the ways I wanted to capture that is by giving people just like a small space to share things that they feel like they need to share, and we've got other spaces if people need to go into detail and, really just get some stuff off their shoulders. But if people just have stuff going on in their lives, if they need prayer for something, or if they have something amazing, they got a promotion, they just had a kid, their wife's pregnant, whatever, just stuff going on in their lives, they can share that. And that goes on this paper crane before we fold it. And the idea is at the beginning of stream, we fold that paper crane, one per stream. And the goal is one day that we get 1,000 of those paper cranes. So,
Wow.
Today we folded
super fun.
119. And that's what those strands are for. I just string them all together so they're kind of like held in a safe spot. But that's what that started from. And to be clear, the first time I folded these, I mean, I had the Google like how-to thing pulled up on my monitor. Like, I feel like the expectation was set for me to like be this origami master. And at this point, I mean, after 120 of these guys, like I can fold them while reading chat and stuff. I've gotten pretty good, but to say that I know origami is, a little bit of a stretch, but I've got my top 5. I'm ready to go. Yeah.
We are ready to roll.
Excellent. So the way that this works, we do round robin. So Draq will give his 5, I'll give my 5, and then you'll give your 5, and we'll just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sound good?
Okay. Sounds good.
Cool. All right, Draq, hit me with your 5.
All right. Number 5, amazing. Every young little mischievous boy or girl, as they're in class, in school at a young age, learns how to do this very simple origami, which is, of course, a paper airplane. You take your homework that you should have been doing, you throw it at the teacher. Like, this is simple, the most basic. This is your entrance into origami, which is why it has to be included on my list. Number 5, paper airplane.
You have already ruined the sacredness of the top 5 list yet again in your first pick.
You're just so serious.
This is not origami. It's a paper airplane.
Lotu, save me. Is this origami? It's a paper airplane origami.
Paper airplane's on my list, so I hope
Is
it
it?
is.
Yes!
Oh, no. All right, people, get in the comments. Is paper airplane origami or not? I feel it's not. I guess in some ways it could be art.
I mean, you are taking a flat thing and you are turning it into a different shape via folding.
This is very broad.
How dare you, sir? You take my art and you defame
Oh, my
it.
goodness. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe this already. Well, okay. Well, maybe I'll be wrong. People
Let's
in
see
the
what
comments.
your number 5 is. I want to hear yours.
My number 5 is Pokemon Origami. Yes, that's right, folks. Pokemon Origami. You can buy the book on Amazon for $7.34. And make all your favorite Pokemon
Link
shapes.
below.
Yeah, link below. Lotu, I don't know if you know this and you don't, but I am a huge Pokemon nerd. I love everything Pokemon.
I mean, me too, but only like the first 151 because the rest are counterfeits.
Oh, you're one of those. Gotcha.
Yeah, I grew up with Pokemon Red. Charizard is my homie. I love him.
Fair.
But Mew and Mewtwo, they're the end. That's it. So anything after that, I don't know what that is.
I think what we've learned from this is that your number 5 is bunk. And now let's get to Lotu's number 5.
So, okay, my number 5, it's funny you bring up elementary school and all that because I remember making these in elementary school, but it was not a paper airplane. This was that little finger fortune teller thingy, where you ask it a question, right? And then you pick like your pick a color, and then somebody picks red. So you go RED, and then you open up that flap and the answer to your question is who knows, or whatever you put under there. So for nostalgia purposes, definitely not for difficulty in folding. I had to include the fortune teller thing, and that's what I called it. Fortune teller thing. That's what I called it. Yeah,
that is what it is. It's a staple. All right, Draq, please take us to your number 4, and it better not be something like a paper airplane.
Listen, all I do is win on this show. So number 4 is, of course, a fan. Not like any fan, but a Japanese fan. Because you make the Japanese fan and then you fan yourself when you're hot. Both useful and amazingly pretty.
Okay, so you're taking a piece of paper, folding it back and forth, and holding it at the bottom, and you're calling that origami?
Yep, that's what I'm doing.
This is why your lists are terrible.
But did you draw a picture on the fan before you turned it into a fan?
No.
I don't really draw. That's not really my skill
Oh,
set.
He literally is just taking a piece of paper, folding it back and forth until it ends.
It's definitely just a white piece of paper.
Yeah.
That's what
and you would rank that higher than a paper airplane?
Yeah, this is.
No.
I told you just did.
No, I would.
You
rank
just
it higher
did,
than a paper
Drac.
airplane. Yep, I just did.
No. No.
No, I'm saying I did.
Questioned your
I
own
am
list.
admitting to it.
Like, that's
Fan
hilarious.
is better than paper airplane.
You were like, no, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh my
So,
goodness.
all right.
Oh my goodness. This is why he is not allowed to make top 5 lists. That's everyone in the comments.
All right, focus. This is your problem with your top 5s and your podcasting is you don't focus. Number 4.
Draq, I understand where you're going with this, and you'll see, my next 4, all of my next 4 are both functional and beautiful. So number 4 for me is the paper hat. Very classic, something everyone wore as a kid. You put the newspaper hat together. It almost looks like a sailboat. It's just a triangle, and your head fits in it like a captain's hat, like a captain of a ship, right? Like George Washington, Captain Crunch, Captain Horatio Crunch.
Wow. Listen, I'll give you some slight props for this. I think the hat/boat combo, it's the transformer of origami.
There you go.
So I think that's very good. I'm pro hat/boat.
And I like that we're using different materials too. We're not just using regular paper. You've got to use the newspaper. So that's good. It's good.
I mean, you could use regular paper and then draw on it, and that's fine too. But like the newspaper is classic, right? Because you need a bigger piece of paper so it can go around your head. It can't just be like an 8.5 by 11 white piece of paper, printer paper.
Right. Too small.
That's probably why it wasn't on my list.
Right. If I can't make it out of a white piece of 8.5 by 11 paper, it's not on my list. My name is Draq. All right, Lotu, number 4.
So my number 4 is the paper plane. Okay.
So
I feel ashamed since we got so much
I have never
hate
felt more
for
validated in my entire life.
So, but
Don't tell
to
your
be
wife
fair,
that.
I'm not talking about the basic triangle looking paper plane. I'm talking about you had to pull this up on Google and it it still doesn't fly because none of them
So you're
fly.
doing like a World War II bomber paper airplane? Is that what you're telling me?
That's a little excessive. But
we're just talking about like professional paper plane makers.
It's got a few folds to it.
Yeah,
it's got a few more folds. So, but it's a classic. It's got to be on the top 5. Like if you think origami and you don't think paper plane, I think you're off base. So
okay, well I'm way off base. Way off base. That's fine.
Base.
I'm happy to be off base, just like Draq's top 5 list. Draq, number 3.
Number 3 is, of course, Ninja Star. If you had a stick and you had paper, then you could be a ninja because you would have your katana and your Ninja Star, and that made you a ninja in 6th grade. Number 3, Ninja Star. Winner.
I can't believe that how bad this list is. It's just it continues to get worse. You might as well have the paper football on your list, the little triangle paper football. And Lotu, if the paper football is on your list,
I know about those paper footballs.
I'm going to be really upset if it is.
Just bury yourself in the grave.
But this is your number 1 is going to be paper football. I can feel it. I can feel it coming.
I'll just let you sit over there and simmer on that one.
Oh, geez. Here we go. Okay, well, Ninja Star is certainly nostalgic. There's your 8.5 by 11 white piece of paper again, Draq. Good job. Fine. Ninja Star it is. I certainly made them and threw them at people. Remember the ones that you would take multiple pieces of paper and like they would kind of slide in and out of each other and you could make it a bigger star and then collapse it together to be a smaller star? Totally awesome.
I never got that fancy.
Yeah. You don't even know of the Ninja Star lore, bro. Come on.
Dymlos, what's your crappy number 3?
Well, my number 3, Draq, is the GOAT. The greatest origami of all time.
If it's the GOAT, why is it number 3?
Because my opinion is better than the GOAT.
Oh, whatever.
Whoa.
Listen, top 5 Nintendo characters, Mario doesn't show up on my top 5, but he's still the GOAT, right? Like that's just how it is.
I mean, that's the dumbest way to do a top 5 ever.
No,
I think we need to do some recalculating there. That's
the top 5 is my opinion. Because it's my top 5. It's not necessarily the top 5. It's just my top 5. So the GOAT can be on here and still not be number 1. But number 3.
If the greatest of all time is not on your top 5, then it's you. You know how Lotu was saying it earlier that it's you that's the problem? I think we're running into one of those situations right now.
question of saying that for
Yeah,
the
keep putting
record.
words in her mouth. She's never going to come back on this show, Drag. Great. Thank you so much.
Oh gosh.
All right. Anyway, Drag, number 3 for me is the classic, the crane. It has to be. It's the GOAT. That's the number one piece you go to. Everyone, that's where you start. You make the crane. It's beautiful. It actually looks like art. And sometimes you can do ones that do a little flapping as well. So it is also, like the hat, number 4, functional. The crane can actually flap a little bit, which is awesome. Number 3, crane.
My number 3, wait for it, is the origami frog. However,
Yeah.
it cannot be made with regular paper. It has to be made with a dollar bill or more.
Oh. So it's actually green.
Oh.
Yeah, my grandpa would always give us money shaped as a frog, and I thought that was the coolest
That's
thing
beautiful. Yes,
Yeah.
I love it. Like for just like little Easter presents or
ever. Just whatever. Like, I mean, we didn't see them very frequently, so anytime we saw them was like a cool thing. And he'd have like $5 paper frogs for us, dollar frogs.
Nice.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Now that you said that, my grandpa used to give me origami frogs too. That was money,
Yeah,
but they were $2 bills. He
Yeah.
always gave me the
that's so
special
cool.
$2 bill.
yeah.
that's
those
about
are
all they were
cool.
good for.
And that
Yeah.
size of paper is perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's why it came about. So, yep. All right. Number 3 for me is that dollar bill frog.
Nice. Good memory attached to it too. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, Drake. Please redeem yourself. So far, you are 0 for 3. Please redeem yourself with your number
I don't
2.
even know what you're talking
Yeah,
about. The origami expert has sided with me on all things. Number 2. So I didn't know the name or what it was called. So I called it the finger game, but you guys are calling
Way
it
different thing. Way different.
you guys are calling it the fortune teller origami. I'm calling it the finger thing. Now, when you said something about doing a color, when we played it in grade school, it was always who's going to be your girlfriend, and you would put all the names of the girls
Oh, yeah. Okay.
inside the thing, and then you'd pick the number, and then there was like
And
8
that's who
different
you'd
questions.
marry.
Yeah, who are
Yeah,
you going to
yeah.
marry? Who is going to be your girlfriend? All this. Yeah, it was a dating app. It was the first dating app.
The OG
So thank
dating
you.
app.
Thank you, fortune teller / finger game, for not determining who my future wife was going to be. But number 2, finger game.
But certainly wasting countless hours by playing this game over and over again. So my number 2 as well, Drac, is the fortune teller. What perfect functionality, maybe not necessarily quote unquote art, which is what I think of when I think of origami, but certainly lots of fun. And it wasn't necessarily always girlfriend names. It could be really anything. Like it just, as long as you get to the fortune at the end, you just pick one of the 4. Like, okay, here's the color. Okay, here's a shape. And then that's your fortune. And you get a bunch of different combination, and it's cool. So yeah, totally functional. I'm glad that we all had it on our list, though. That goes to show that that's
True
such a
classic.
formative part
It was an
of
iconic
childhood.
grade
Yeah.
school moment.
Yep, absolutely.
Mhm.
All right, Lotu, number 2.
All right. My number 2 is the dodecahedron. I
Boom.
have never made one. It takes multiple pieces of paper to make it happen. And then you have to like fit each piece together. I think it looks fantastic. I've seen other people have posted in my Discord that they've made it. It looks wicked cool. So has to make the list.
Absolutely. I'm a huge D&D nerd, so although the dodecahedron is actually a 12-sided dice, a lot of people actually think it's the 20-sided dice is the dodecahedron. That's not the case. It's 12-sided shape. So
I actually just had that entire thought process go through my head.
I knew it.
That's
It's like I knew that this was going to happen, and I put it in a Patreon's list there for you to know that it was a 12-sided shape and not a 20-sided shape. So you're welcome, Drac, for me knowing you so well that to be able to talk about this, I had to have little notes so that you knew.
I think you saw that one coming. I don't think that was too hard.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, 12-sided shape, perfect for dice or make your own dice. That's a great one. So good choice. All right, Drac, let's knock this out. Let's hear your number 1.
My number 1 actually is the greatest of all time, which is the crane. And let me tell you why it's the greatest of all time. Because this was used in the TV show Prison Break. If you remember,
What a great reason.
It's one of my favorite shows
Oh,
ever.
my goodness.
And Michael Scofield uses the little origami cranes to pass messages in and out of prison and construct his entire Prison Break based on origami. So naturally syndicated TV show, and it's all based around origami. This makes the crane the number one origami of all time. Mic drop, I win.
I don't know about that. It was my number 3, so I think I've once
Well, you
again
did
already stolen
acknowledge
your
it was
thunder.
the goat. You did acknowledge.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a 1
Yeah.
also.
Kind of like I won this week. That's what I heard her say. All right, Dymlos, number 1.
All right, to finish out my very functional top 5 of origami is the jumping frog. And the reason that this is my number 1 is because this is my favorite. The flapping of the wings crane is great. The fortune teller game is great. Wearing a hat's great. But the frog's just fun. You're flipping frogs everywhere. The frogs either flip or they jump, or you remember the ones that were made out of plastic jumped a lot higher. But these ones that are paper jump just as fun, and it's just as functional to use your imagination with that you're playing with a real frog. I guess I don't. that's a little weird, but we were kids and did weird things. So yeah, for me, jumping frog, super functional, super beautiful. You can color it green. You could, like Lotu said, make a dollar, do the frog dollar, and those can still jump. But yeah, that's my number 1. Lots of good memories around the jumping frog. All right, Lotu, what's your number 1?
My number 1 is the crane. Easy.
Yeah.
It is the goat. It's got special memories for me, as far as the stream goes. And I think it's got some lore behind it. It's just, if you Googled origami, I think, like top 10 hits would probably be paper crane too. So,
No doubt.
if Google says I'm right, it must absolutely be right. So
Oh,
there we
yeah.
go.
We're going to give Lotu the win this week, but I am definitely like even with her, and you are like 4th or 5th.
It's true.
place.
I do think
Of
ours
3?
were pretty similar.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
You're 4th place of 3 people. That's where you are this week, as usual.
No, get out of here. Get out. I just have nothing to say because I'm not the expert of origami. But
None of us are. That's kind of the funny part.
yeah. So I'm trying to argue semantics here, and I don't really know anything about it. But I mean, I had crane on my list. I have more memories with other shapes than the crane. So I'm sorry. All right. Last but not least, we had 2 of our Patreon people chime in for this one, even though I reminded them a bunch of times to get it in. But
I think they were intimidated by the origami. I think there was some intimidation.
You got to reach into the recesses of your mind to pull these out if you're not making them every day,
It's true. That's true. Or you could just go to Google. 2 lists. Hopefully we'll have more lists up. Hopefully our Patreon will chime in later throughout the week and we can put their lists up. But Screech decided to do what he did with his top 5 Nintendo characters as well, and just let his child pick the top 5 for him, because I don't know if he has a daughter or a son, but whoever did the origami recently, like they've gone through a book recently, and these were some of their favorites. So
we've already established that Screech is older than paper, so it's fine.
Yeah,
he just didn't know.
If he had to phone a friend, that's totally fine. It just happened to be his kid. So 5, butterfly, beautiful. I like butterflies. There are a lot of butterfly Pokemon, so I'm of course down with butterflies. Number 4, Ninja Star. We talked about that already.
Great pick.
Yeah, great pick. Clearly origami. Number 3, the dodecahedron, classic.
Yep.
2 frog, 1 crane. This list is great.
Very nice list.
Yeah, cannot argue this list at all. And that's part of the problem with the not spicy list. But that's fine. We can have a not spicy list for once. I don't need to poo-poo on everybody's list all the time, even if they pay us for it.
I got one coming up.
Oh, do you now? So
Ziplocs.
Okay, so Ziplocs number 5 is a swan. Okay, I assume that's probably
Too low.
Probably,
but okay.
probably the crane. You
It's
think
probably
it
the
might
crane. Yeah,
Okay.
let's-
Swan is the crane.
Yeah.
Is the swan. Yeah.
Okay.
We got
Same thing.
number
Fair
4
enough.
frog, which is good. It's
Mhm.
on most of our lists. Not Drax, of course. Number 3,
Whoa.
dragon.
Okay, hold up.
Okay.
When's the last time you saw a origami dragon?
Yeah, I'm about to Google this.
For sure, they exist.
Oh,
but
there
this
it
is like
is.
professional origami people.
Who does an origami dragon?
Listen, just because the vast knowledge that you have is you folding a piece of paper back and forth and making a fan, doesn't mean that other people can't make a dragon out of it. Okay.
I want to see Zip's origami dragon. I want to see
Okay. So this is actually fantastic. Google is essentially teaching me that you start with a crane, right? So fold the regular paper crane, and then you can essentially make like some additional folds to the wings and to like the ears and tail, and it ends up looking so cool. Looks
There you
really
go.
nice. So it's actually like an added feature to the crane. So I'm Zip, love it. I've learned
Maybe-
something new, and I want to make this.
Yeah, maybe that's your next line. Like you
Maybe like
evolve
every
from
100
cranes
is
to
a dragon. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Content has been created.
I love it. So cool.
Number 2, Shuriken Ninja Star. We've covered that one. Number 1, Dodecahedron. I can't believe that the Dodecahedron is on everyone's list but mine. Like it's kind of boring. It's just a 12-sided
I didn't
dice.
have it either.
Oh,
It's so cool.
I mean, okay. It's a 12-sided die.
Yeah,
Certainly
but
not
it's
as
made
cool
out
as
of paper.
Pokemon origami. Fold your own Pokemon. Gotta fold them
Whatever.
all. Gotta fold them all.
Beautiful. That was lovely.
Before you leave, we've one final word. Before you've forgotten all that you've heard, there is a moment evergreen. Stay here a while and listen to me.
We are so excited and so happy that Lotu could join us. And it has been super fun. We've been laughing through the whole way. 2 hours has gone by just like that. Not quite as long as Nathan Napalm, but
We appreciate that.
definitely
You're
over.
welcome.
And so it's been
You're
super
welcome.
fun.
Yeah, no, seriously, my cheeks hurt right now. I've had a blast. Like you guys are. I've had a great time being here. Good conversation. So thank you very much.
Well, we certainly want to invite you back. We've been doing this kind of stretch for a little while now, leading up to EA. Eventually, we're going to go back to a show where it's just Draq and I. But we've always thought we wanted guests to be sprinkled in. So expect us to reach out again in the very near future.
Yeah, please do. I'd love to.
Awesome. All right. Well, we always like to end this by giving you the last word. So how would you like to end this show?
I would like to say, in the words of Joppa, onwards and upwards.